All right, today we're gonna finish up this elevator and go ahead and go through and put all of our outputs on, make sure everything's parented the right way, and kind of just finish it up so that you guys can finish up your lobby and basement or whatever the two floors are. Small, high quality rooms is what I'm looking for with this fully functional freight elevator between the two floors. So let's start out with the button that we put on the outside of the elevator. So yesterday you added, this is my lobby, and yesterday you added this button right here. So it is a function button. The name of it is Elevator Button Lobby. This is from yesterday. We have no parent, right? This button should not move up and down. This is the button that's stuck to the wall, so we don't want this button going anywhere. Let's see, what else do we have to deal with here? The delay before reset, this is a number you could play around with. This is how long the button is dead before it can be pressed again. So 3 seconds should be fine, but you can play with that if you want to. Under flags, we're going to say don't move and use activates. So remember, don't move, because by default in Source Engine these buttons press inward when you touch them. So we don't want this going anywhere. So don't move, use activates. And then on our outputs, we're going to say on pressed. We're going to call the doors here. So on pressed, elevator 2 doors, set animation, open. So what this is going to do is when we press this button, it's going to call these doors right here. Let's open this up so we can see a little better. Okay, so when we press this button, it's going to call to these doors to set their animation to open. Now, how do I know open is the name of the animation? Well, let's look at the doors. So let's go ahead and wrap this one up real quick. So function button, make sure it has a name, no parent. Flags is don't move, use activates. The output, on pressed, elevator 2 doors, set animation, open. All right, let's look at these doors right here. So these are the elevator doors. It's a prop dynamic. Its name is elevator 2 doors. Its parent is elevator 2, because we want these to move with the elevator. Now if we go through here and let's see, let's go to the world model and browse. What you're going to see is there's a sequence tab. And this is a dynamic model, so it has 3 different sequences. It's got idle, which is doing nothing. It's got close, and it's got open. So that's how I knew the name of the animation that I wanted to call. So when you're playing with these dynamic props, when you fire an output to it and you do a set animation, you have to look at the prop under its sequence tab and see what the animations are. Now, another place you can see it is under model. It also has some different things in here too, where you can take a look at them. But this drop down doesn't set the animation, it just allows you to look at them. Okay, so don't confuse this drop down here with actually doing anything to your model. This just allows you to look through the animations for the model. All right, so we don't have any outputs on the doors. The doors have inputs, lots of inputs, but no outputs. The doors themselves don't talk to anybody else. They just listen. Okay, so we've done this button. The doors we don't need to do anything to. The doors we set up yesterday, we named them elevator 2 doors. We parented them to the elevator 2, and really that's it. The doors are good to go just the way they are. Now inside the elevator we put this giant trigger box right here. All right, and I asked you to make the trigger box fill up the entire volume of that elevator. So what this does is it's going to detect the player inside the elevator And when you exit the elevator, it's going to close the doors behind you, just like a real elevator that you've ridden, hopefully, possibly at some point in your life. So let's take a look at this guy here. Right? So this is a trigger multiple. So I created a box, I covered it with trigger, I right-clicked on it, and I set it to trigger multiple, clicked apply. We named it elevator door close trigger. We parented it to elevator 2, so this box moves up and down with the elevator. Under outputs, on end touch, elevator 2 doors, set animation, close. So what this means is that when you stop touching this box, when your player leaves this box, it's going to tell the doors to set their animation to close. Now you'll notice I put a delay of 1.5 seconds. That gives the player enough time to clear the doors before they start to close. If you put 0 delay, as soon as your player hull breaks this line right here, these doors will slam shut on you. So I gave it a second and a half, do whatever makes you happy, but I'd give it a second or two for the player to clear the elevator before the doors close. It's really all there is on this. There's not much to it. It's a really simple on-end touch, elevator 2 doors, set animation close, delay of 1.5 seconds. All right. The button on the inside of the elevator. It's a func button, just like all the other buttons we've made. The flags, don't move, use activates, so pretty standard here. The output, on pressed, elevator 2 doors, set animation close, on pressed, elevator 2 start forward, and I gave this one a 2-second delay because I wanted the doors to finish closing before the elevator started moving. So when you press this button on the inside of the elevator, it's going to animate the doors to close with a 0-second delay. Then it's going to set the elevator 2 to start forward after a 2-second delay. So the doors will animate closed, 2-second delay, then the elevator is going to move. Class info on this button here. The name is freight button. It's the button on the inside of the elevator. Its parent is elevator 2, so it's connected to the bottom of the elevator, so it moves with it. And that's it. Not much else to this one. All right, let's go to the basement. All right, so down in the basement, I've got another button. So we ride the elevator down, we hop out, we do whatever we're supposed to do down here. Now, if we want to go back up, I need to get back in the elevator. So remember, the elevator is programmed so when I get out of it, the doors are going to close. So down here, we've got a button. It's a function button. The name is elevator button basement. It has no parent because this button does not move. On its flags, don't move, use activates. Output is going to be the same as the button upstairs. On pressed, elevator 2 doors, set animation to open. So this is going to open the doors when you press the button. All right, let's see, what else do we have here? Here's our function track train, no outputs there. This is the track train that controls the whole thing. Its name is elevator 2. Let's see, a couple things from our previous lessons that you should remember about elevators. Change angles is going to be fixed orientation. Under flags, no pitch, no user control, fixed orientation. Remember, the elevator, we don't want it tilting or rocking or rotating or anything like that. So on my func track train, this is the thing that actually controls the whole elevator. Its name is ELEV2, elevator 2. First stop target this is something that a lot of students miss right here. If you don't put your first stop target, the elevator doesn't know where to spawn. So this is the name of our path track, okay? Elevator path spawn. If you drop this menu down, you should be able to find it. If it's not there, go ahead and type it in. It'll be red, but we'll go through and name all these things, right? Height above track, you could set that to 0 if you want. I left it at 4 on this one. It just means it's going to sit 4 inches above the path track. It's no big deal. It's not going to break anything. That's it for that one. All right, well, Hammer just crashed, so let's reopen it. That was a good part of the lesson there, good part of the video. All right, so elevator, let's see. We've got our elevator. Let's look at our path tracks, all right? So remember, there's 3 path tracks, okay? So I've got one that I'm going to spawn at and then the 2 between the floors. So one of them is going to be named elevator path spawn. The next stop target is going to be elevator path basement. Orientation type is no change. Under outputs, on pass, elevator 2, stop. Okay, so what this does is it stops the elevator at this path track. All right, very simple. We've done this before, so no mystery or anything here. Now the next path track we have is this one. This one is elevator path lobby, because this is my lobby floor. Next stop target is elevator path basement. Orientation type is no change. Nothing on the flags. Under output, this one has an extra output because we need to open a set of doors. So we're going to say on pass, elevator 2, stop. This is going to stop the elevator. On pass, elevator 2 doors, set animation, open. This is going to open the doors when you stop. Okay, name, next stop target, no change, outputs, that's it. All right, now let's go to our third and final path track. This is the one in the basement. Name, elevator path basement. Next stop target, elevator path lobby. Orientation type, no change. No flags. Outputs, on pass, elevator 2, stop. On pass, elevator 2 doors, set animation, open. So it's the same as the lobby path track. When we get there, we stop the elevator, we set the animation on the doors to open so the player can get out. Right? Let's go all the way back up to the top and just kind of recap through all the pieces. And you can pause the video on each one of these if you need to double check them. So my button, my outputs for that button, my flags for that button. This is the doors, flags, nothing, outputs, nothing. It has lots of inputs, but these get set by other objects, so you don't need to mess with those. The giant trigger box on the inside, trigger multiple, naming information, output, no flags that we checked. These are all defaults. Here's the floor of the elevator. It's a function brush. There's all the settings for it. No outputs, no flags, that are not default, no inputs. This is just a brush that you stand on. Make sure you parent it. Here's the track train, name, first stop target, change angles. We have 3 flags, several inputs that get set by other objects. We have no outputs. We have a button on the inside of the elevator, output, flags, and we have a button in the basement, opens the doors. We have a couple flags, good. And then finally we have 3 path tracks. Okay, so double check all your path tracks. I have a spawn path track with a next stop target. I have an output to stop the elevator. I have my first floor path track, which is my lobby path track. Next stop is the basement, no change. Stop the elevator, open the door. And finally I have a basement path track. Next stop is the lobby, no change. Output, stop the elevator, open the doors. All right, that is every piece of this elevator. So we have 3 buttons, some animated doors, everything else is there. We're not going to mess with the lighting just yet, but that's everything. That's our elevator, that's the trigger box that closes it. So pause the video, go through, double check all of the settings on that. Once you're done, work on the lobby, work on the basement, make it as pretty as possible. And we're going to be turning this in on Friday as a test. We're going to do some lighting corrections tomorrow to show you how to adjust the lighting on props that maybe aren't receiving their full lighting, and then we'll turn this in on Friday.